It's very hard in football to find someone that plays for your club that not only plays with the desire to win, but the desire to leave his blood, sweat, and tears on the pitch. And that is what Sergi Roberto captivated. Roberto, for me, is a player that I've seen grow up in Barcelona. He kind of came up with the system when I started to, properly, religiously follow Barcelona. And he's one of those few players who I've seen, every single second of his Barcelona career at, from the time he came off the bench in the Champions League semi-final in 2010-11 to, of course, scoring goals in the Champions League quarterfinals in round 16 for us last season. He's been one of those players for me that, you had that extra gripe for. He's from the academy. He's a lad that, from the city. He knows what it's about. He's, grew up the hard way through the system, earned his craft, earned his way. In, 2014 to 2016, he was one of my favorite players because he's someone who just leaves it all on the pitch and he has the ability to back it up. In 15 years, you compare it to other players who've been for the club for that long, he doesn't have that many games played, 373. So you can see what kind of a role Roberto does have. He is by far the most versatile player I have ever seen at this club. I've seen him so much. I've seen him play in every single position apart from striker and goalkeeper. I've seen him play on both wings, in every single area of the midfield, box to box, attacking midfielder, in the pivot, double pivot, forward midfield, right midfield, left back, right back, center back. I have seen him play everywhere. Never have I seen a utility player of the level of Roberto. And it's not like he's going in there not performing well. He's, putting in a shift. Of course, not, top like you would expect when he plays at right back, maybe in midfield, but he's putting his shifts at left back, center back, and left wing, and I'm thinking there's not that big of a drop off. I mean, look at his big game moments in the Clásicos. Roberto in Clásico, by the way, was different level. I can't even count the amount of assists he's gotten. I think I saw a stat before recording this video that's about like 6, which is ridiculous. But remember that one at the 4-0 away at the Bernabeu in the 15-16 season, he was playing out right wing because Messi was injured, and he got that beautiful assist for the Suarez goal. He's a player that leaves it all on the pitch, and he's someone that has the talent and ability to do so, and you've seen how he has been over the past few years. I understand that past few seasons haven't been the greatest, where to be honest, I think last season he was quite decent, despite having, two of the worst performances of the campaign, but I understand why people are really against Roberto and, oh, he's so mid, blah, blah, blah. I think that comes a lot from the new fans that we've accumulated over the past few years. They haven't seen the Roberto of 2012, the 2014 Roberto, 15, 16, 2017, 18 Roberto was his prime, in my opinion, when Luis Enrique made that bold move to pick him out right back as the Dani Alves replacement. Did he replace him? No. Was he the same profile? No. But he was a different kind of right back. I mean, just those runs from that right-hand side, the cut inside runs, so deadly. Of course, the one that set up Messi's goal in the last second at the 3-2 Bernabeu to win the game, where he made that whole entire run from his own box, from right back, all the way to the final third of Real Madrid, skipping past Casemiro, Marcelo, opening up the space, of course, led it off to Gomes, Jordi Alba, back to Messi in the goal. That's what Roberto captivated. He's someone who always cooperated with the club, never caused any issues, had to reduce his salary when we needed to during the prime 2021 when we were as broke as you can get, when he was, earning his prime salary of around 200,000 euros per week. He's the one who reduced that all the way down to 50,000 and has been earning, these low wages ever since. And, the trophies speak for themselves. I think he has 25 trophies, 2 UCLs, 7 La Ligas, 6 Copa del Reys, 5 Spanish Super Cups, 1 UEFA Cup, 1 Club World Cup. Those are the moments for Roberto. Of course, his highlight will be the PSG goal. I'm not going to touch upon it too much because we already know the story behind that, how much it meant not only for the game and the city, but also for the fans as well. But for me, my first Roberto memory was a goal that he scored in the Champions League group stages. I believe we were playing Bayern Leverkusen at home. We need to win. I think this is the group stages after we won the treble. I think Hakan Çalhanoğlu scored from a corner kick. We needed to come back and to, I think, top the group. And Roberto was the one who got the goal, and I think he set up the Suarez goal as well. Suarez's goal was absolutely brilliant. Of course, roofed it in the top right corner from outside the box. That was one of my first, okay, Roberto, I see you. And that's when he started, slowly but surely breaking into the team. And then, of course, the following season after that, that's when he got a main prominent role from Luis Enrique. He's always been a squad player. Again, like I mentioned, 15 years of the club. You've seen, the likes of Busquets, Jordi Alba, Piqué have 400, 500 appearances during that kind of same period. But Roberto's way on the lower side because that was his role. And he accepted that. He knew that. Of course, he knows that, look, right back's not my preferred position. But if I can play well for the club, I'll go out there and put 100% in. And that's what it meant to Roberto. He just wanted to play for the club. And it's very, very, very difficult nowadays in football with the money involved and how early your career starts to find people with that love, passion, and desire for the club. Roberto, for me, again, he's always been one of my favorite players growing up because I've seen his journey. I've saw from the moment he stepped onto the pitch to the moment that he walked off during the end of the last campaign. I've seen it all. He's one of those players that, you watch from the beginning. Of course, now the new generation will probably like, oh, I saw every single minute of Lamine Yamal, of Pedri, of Gavi. But Sergi Roberto was that back in the day. When the hype was up about him coming through the academy alongside Marc Bartra as well. Those two were kind of, one of the top talents. And back then, squads weren't that important. You had, a good lineup. That's all you needed for one game every 2 weeks or 1 week. Having those squad players wasn't really necessary like it is nowadays in football with the amount of games. And he was that kind of player that grew into that system. And, I mean, I don't think Roberto is a legend of the club. I think he's more so of an icon. A very, very good servant for the club, and he'll always have a place in our hearts, a place to call his home. But I understand people may call him legend because of the amount of years he's been in the club. And you know what? If you call him a legend, fair enough to you. I still am on the side that I see him more as an icon, despite the amount of years he's been at the club. Again, the appearances have to be put into perspective as well. But again, with Roberto, he's had a lot of good years, some bad years as well, which again, a lot of players had. There's not one player, apart from maybe Messi, who's had consecutive good years at the club. They've all experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I mean, even his goal against Getafe when we were coming off the verge of bankruptcy and losing Messi, him kissing the badge after reducing his salary, that's what it's all about for me. That's what I will remember Roberto as, a versatile player who gave it all on the pitch. Pretty solid player on the right-hand side, whether it's at right back or right mid as well, can put a job in midfield, and someone who will go and play any position you want him to and will give 200%. So I do want to thank Roberto for his services to the club. Of course, he ended off the year as the captain, could not lift any trophies, unfortunately, as the captain, but he ended off his year the best way he could. I think it would have been best for him to leave the season before last, the 22-23 season. He should have left with the likes of Busquets, Alba, Jerry as well. That was his moment because that was kind of those players weren't really his era, but it was just past his era. And I think since they were all leaving, he should have probably left with them as well. But of course, Xavi wanted to stay. He was going to be the captain, so I understand why he did stay. But in retrospect, I think it would have been best for him to leave with everyone else getting a proper send-off as well. He gets no send-off in this kind of circumstance. Him waiting about a month and a half now to see if Barcelona can, register him. They decide not to go through with it. He decided, you know what, I will walk now and not wait anymore. So it's kind of sad the way it's ended because I would prefer he would have announced it before he left. Could have given him a send off in what he deserved for the amount of services of years he's given to the club, but registration and stuff like that has kind of left it into unforeseen circumstances from now on. But wish Roberto all the best in his future, and we'll wait and see if he ever comes back to Barcelona in the future. And a role upstairs, a role on the pitch, whatever the case may be, he will always be welcome back into this club, and he's been nothing short of an absolute fantastic servant for the badge.